Hello and welcome to the Jefferson My Drinks Fantasy Podcast, the pod on a mission to normalise 8-team leagues. I am Pete McManus and I'm joined by Ian Harrison. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I don't know how I am. So to let everybody else in on this for anyone who's been following our podcast since the beginning, which we are now in year 4. This has been the year of technology issues, and which is why we haven't done as many pods as we usually do. We've just had a few issues all year. And we've just spent 40 minutes chatting to each other on what was the greatest podcast that will never be heard by anyone because it wasn't recorded. So, which included the most in-depth analysis of anything I've ever heard from Ian for a good 7 minutes. And I learned a lot, but unfortunately, no one else learned anything because it'll never be heard.
Yeah, but you are going to hear it, and Pete's going to have to hear it for a second time. So
yes,
when I'm talking non-stop for about 5 minutes, just be aware that Pete has already heard everything I'm saying at that point in time, because it was literally after I said this stuff that I noticed that it wasn't recording.
Yeah, so hopefully this is recording and you're actually hearing what we're saying. Because if we do all this twice and still nobody hears it, I'm going to be frustrated. So,
I know.
Right, I'm trying to remember what we talked about. Let's go through the things that matter. Injuries suck. So they've started happening. The JMD and JTT Redraft leagues are live. We've done 4 drafts. We've got 4 to go.
You've done some charity stuff. I've done some charity stuff. I'm really welcome. Let's go.
Yes. Ian's charity did really well, £415 to the charity. So thanks to everyone who got involved in that. He's going with a big check down to the Lake District next week to present it to them. And a big shout out to Matt Cullen and everyone else at the JTT Cup. Obviously, best balls in the past, but they've got loads running around the start of the NFL season and the start of the Premier League season this weekend. So if you want to get involved in all of those things, either get in touch with us or get in touch with them directly. That's pretty much it. That was the cut down version.
Yeah, I believe so. But we are doing a mock. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we're doing a mock tonight for JMD, JTT. Redraft charity.
Yes, 10-team mock. Ian's going at 4. I'm going at 7. As we've discussed, we've already done the first 7 rounds once, so it'll be interesting to see if we just do them the same again. But it's just all practice for us. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do the exact same thing
again. Should we get going?
Yeah, let's get going. Let's see if we can get CMC at 4 again.
Oh, we've got an option here. So you've got a different choice. So Gibbs goes at 1, Puka goes at 2, and then Chase goes at 3, which means
that is an interesting start to the draft.
Yeah. Which means you've got are you going to go?
I still get CMC at 4.
Yeah. or Bijan.
But I'm not. I'm getting Bijan at 4 is ridiculous.
Yeah. This is where the automatic mock draft tool doesn't necessarily work, I don't think. Because it's kind of like that's not going to happen, is it? So it's it does throw you off a little. It does throw you off a little bit. McCaffrey then went after that. JSN went at 6, and I'm sat at 7, and I can go with a player I've been taking a lot of. I've been in this sort of middle to back end of the draft, and my player this year is Amon-Ra St. Brown, safe floor, and I think with their schedule and the way Dan Campbell likes to put up points on teams, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to have a really big year. Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson finish out the first round. The second round starts with 3 running backs, Cook, Barkley, and Gentry. which leaves me with a choice of Devon Achan, Amarian Hampton, or wide receiver Drake London. And I'm going to go running back, but I just can't see it with Achan. I just can't see how he can have as good a year as last year, because the Dolphins are going to be terrible. And I get that he's going to get all the work and everything else, and still think he'll be solid. But I want somebody who could potentially be a top 2 or 3 running back. I just don't think it's in his. I don't think it's in his world of outcomes, because they're just not going to score enough points. So I'm going to take a gamble on the second year of Amarian Hampton and him taking a leap. After that, it does go Achan, and then Derrick Henry goes at 5, which brings it back to Ian.
Which leaves me with either Drake London or Chase Brown as my top 2 options. I do like to go running back, and I'm all in on Chase Brown.
Yeah, Chase Brown.
So I made the Chase Brown pick. Drake London went after that.
Go on, mate.
Drake London went, then AJ Brown. Then Brock Bowers went before Trey McBride, which in the episode we were recording that we weren't actually recording. Trey McBride went ahead of Brock Bowers, and I managed to get Brock Bowers coming back. Kenneth Walker, George Pickens, and then Trey McBride went to Team 3 just before me. And that leaves me with Josh Allen available, Nico Collins, and Jeremiah Love. And every time I see Jeremiah Love, I think it's Jordan Love, and I'm like, how is he a running back? And it's
going to be a lot of that.
But I've already gone running back, so I need to pick up a wide receiver. It's probably going to have to be Nico Collins at this point.
Nico Collins is a really safe pick, I think, as long as he stays fit. But it's not.
So I did Nico Collins. Kyron Williams went. Yeah, as safe as it can be, I suppose. But he also has the potential to really, really explode and finish top 3.
Yeah, it's just not exciting. I'm like, it's Nico Collins, whatever. Kyron, that's high for Kyron, middle of the 3rd round. Jeremiah Love, who could be out until the start of the season, I saw from the injury he picked up in preseason week 1. I never picked Josh Allen, but if he dropped this far, I think you've got him. So I'll take Josh Allen, which gives me a nice balance of quarterback, running back, wide receiver. And then teammate, follow that up with Malik Neighbors, then T. Higgins, then Rashee Rice, Breece Hall at the turn, Ted McMillan, and then Lamar Jackson puts me back on the clock, which gives me the opportunity to go anywhere with this. And I'll go with Chris Olave, who I've already picked once tonight. So I'm going with him again. Chris, for all the reasons I said earlier. Chris Olave, I've come around to him a lot recently. And it was between him and Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith goes next, and then Javonte Williams for Team 5, who've gone 4 running backs, which is a very Ian start. I've seen Ian do that this year.
Yeah, actually, I did it in a live draft, didn't I? Really, really stacked up on all those running backs. So I'm on the clock now with Bijan, Chase Brown, and Nico Collins already on the roster. Josh Jacobs, he's looking at me. I'm a big fan of Josh Jacobs. If he is going to get a ban, I don't think it'll be this season. So I am still drafting him wherever I can. But the fact that I've already got 2 running backs, I'm going to take Redraft Mocking. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think Justin Herbert is going to absolutely spam him, and I think he's going to be a league winner.
Okay, after Lad McConkey, it's Josh Jacobs, Zay Flowers, and Mika Egbuka, Cam Scatterboo on the turn. I'm not sure about Cam Scatterboo. I'm not sure about the Giants at all. I'm not hearing good things about the Giants, and that worries me a lot, because we're in we're in hope season and everybody's better than they've ever been, except the Giants, who apparently look terrible. So I was like, that's really not good for pre-season, is it? Drake May goes at 502. Travis Achan at 503. Are we going with Achan? Are we just sticking with ETN? What have we made a decision as a pod?
Well, personally, I don't know what you want to do, but I'm sticking with ETN.
Okay, we'll just go with that. He's not good.
We are stumbling towards a misunderstanding between Echan and Achan. Okay, so I'm personally sticking with ETN for the sake of clarity.
I like that. I also don't think he's going to get that upset if he happens to listen to our podcast, and if anybody else who does listen points it out to him, then that's on you, not on us, really. So I'm with that. We'll just keep calling him ETN. You can't pick him though. He went the one before you, so you are back on the clock with a lovely balanced start of 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers.
Yeah. So, and I've done it in as many drafts as I can. I did it in the draft before that we didn't record. I'm taking Joe Burrow.
I'm
locking him up. I still do have my concerns about whether he can play the full season. He got hit a lot in preseason game 1. Well, more than I wanted him to get hit. So there's still his concerns around that. Can he stand up to it? But I'm rolling the dice. I will live or die on the shoulders of Joe Burrow this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the 4th quarterback off the board, and he's got the potential to be maybe because he doesn't run, he won't get to number 1, but he can definitely be top 2, and he's going to put the numbers up.
I think when it's 6 points per passing touchdown, I will take him this high. If it's your standard 4 points per passing touchdown, I wouldn't have taken him at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. So you've already mentioned that we've done this once and McBride went ahead about us. What also happened in the earlier one is that Loveland went ahead of Warren, and as part of that, you said that you think that will correct itself a little bit, or at least they'll get a little bit closer, and maybe Warren will start getting taken above Loveland. And in this mock, Warren has gone. So it's Bucky Irving, Tyler Warren, which leaves me with a massive dilemma at 7, because I was looking at Garrett Wilson or Colson Loveland, and it would have been nice if one of them had just been taken. And then I don't have to make that decision. Neither of them are coming back, so I will go. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson, because if I was in an actual draft, that's what I'd do, because I take Garrett Wilson in every draft I'm in. Jalen Waddle, then Devontae Adams, Quinshon Judkins, and Colston Loveland go at a turn. Travion Henderson, who I can't decide whether I like or not. I think he's boom or bust. I can't decide which side of that I'm on. Mike Evans, who I know you quite like, Ian. I think he could get potentially 10 targets a game for the 49ers, which I hear you on. He goes to teammate at 6'3", which leaves me back on the board looking for a running back, and have all the ones that are near the top. I am taking a little bit more of your boy DeAndre Swift this year. I am in on. It's taken me a few years to come around to the idea, but I am taking a lot more DeAndre Swift, so I'm in on him. And then he's followed by another bear in Luther Burden, and then DJ Moore, which leaves you back on the clock with Joe Burrow, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, and we're not liking Luther Burden, are we, this year?
I just think he's overhyped for what he's done, and now he's potentially, he's even touch and go for week 1. I was like, I just think it's I don't see why he's in the middle of the 6th round on a 10 team. It seems pretty high.
But just to go back to Travion Henderson, and you said you were a bit unsure about him. The reports out of training camp is he is absolutely horrendous at pass blocking, and he could lose a significant amount of work to Andre Stevenson this season. But then it's like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a sack on your quarterback, or would you rather have a fumble?
So I did a draft yesterday. We got to about, I can't remember, it was 18 because that's our thing. So it was late, but it was late, and it was one of those, when you're looking at it and you're going, I've got 4 or 5 running backs, I've got 4 or 5 wide receivers, I've got my quarterback, I've got my tight end. I'd even taken my kicker at this point. So I was like, and I'm staring at everyone, and I took Ramondre Stevenson, and I was just like, it's such a meh pick, but because of that one thing that you just said, it could end up being a really solid running back pick. And when you injuries start kicking in, Ramondre Stevenson could be that player where you go, yeah, he'll give me 12 points this week and just be solid. He'll score a touchdown and put up a really solid line. So it's not exciting to do, but I do think he's worth a gamble late on in drafts. But not at that point.
So then that leaves me with David Montgomery, Terry McLaurin, and Jameson Williams as my next 3 options. Now, Pete knows where I'm going here because I am a big believer in David Montgomery. He is now RB1 at the Texans. I am going for that. So then my pick was followed by Jaden Daniels. Basil Tutum went next, followed by Jalen Hurts, Jameson Williams, and Rome Adunes. So I just wanted to talk again, Pete, about the Commanders, if that's all right. And this is the point we got to in the last pod, although we're probably another 15 minutes further in by the time we got to this. But this is more aimed towards newer players in fantasy football. So Pete, feel free to switch off because you've already heard all this. And if you are long in the tooth and you already know what I'm going about, then that's fine as well. But for people that are new to fantasy football and an injury to one of the best left tackles in the league, I just want to talk a bit about how a non-fantasy position can affect the rest of the fantasy players and how that might affect the way you draft all the players that you want to look at. And maybe you want to start fading people, or maybe you want to start bringing people up your draft boards. So for Larry Tunsil, amazing left tackle, suffered a torn triceps in training camp and is likely to miss a significant portion of the season. So it's not directly fantasy-related position, but for a right-handed quarterback like Jaden Daniels, the left tackle is probably the most important position on the field, as he's responsible for blocking the quarterback's blind side. So when a player like Tunsil goes down, how do we fix this problem and how do we plug that gap? So what we need to do first off is compare Tunsil to his backup. And at the minute, according to the Commander's depth chart, it's a guy called Brandon Coleman. So last season, Larry Tunsil finished the season with an 88.9 pass blocking grade. If you want to get into PFF stats, I know some people don't buy into all that. Some people lean heavily on that. Completely your choice on what you want to do with this information. Okay. Now that pass blocking grade made him the second best in the league out of 89 qualifying offensive tackles. He also had a 75.3 run blocking grade, which is 21st in the league. He also allowed 15 pressures over 802 snaps, which is a phenomenal return from a left tackle. When we compare that to Coleman's stats, these now look significantly worse, with a 60.9 pass blocking grade, which makes him the 67th best out of 89, and a run blocking grade of 69, which ranks him at 36th. He also allowed 11 pressures in only 390 snaps, which if you add Tunsil's workload to that, it equates to about 22 pressures, which is 7 more than Tunsil gave up. Okay. So what that means for Jaden Daniels, essentially, is you're going to have less time in the pocket. Coleman's going to be under pressure. The pocket's going to collapse a lot earlier. So it's all about how fast Jaden Daniels makes a decision and gets rid of the ball, or makes a decision to keep the ball and start scrambling. Now, it's probably going to sound weird, but less time in the pocket might be a benefit to Jaden Daniels. In his rookie season, when Daniels lit up the league, he was the 5th fastest QB at releasing the ball. Okay. When he releases the ball under 2.5 seconds, He is the 5th best in the league. If he is asked to hold on to the ball and extend the play, however, he drops a bit and he ends up as the 8th best quarterback in the league. Okay? So his rating drops from 85.7 to 78.1. So there's a case to be made that he's actually a better player when the scheme dictates faster throws. And that's what the Commander scheme is going to have to do now. They're going to have to look at how they can get the ball out quicker. If they are going to bulk up the protection to make sure Jayden Daniels gets a bit more time, or they can open up some running lanes for him, the Commanders can't just rely on Coleman doing it on his own. So the obvious answer to this problem is to play more 12 personnel, or maybe even 13 personnel, which means we're going to have extra tight ends on the field. And also, we're probably going to have our best blocking running back as well. So who is this going to affect? If we look at the Commanders depth chart, Chig Okonkwo is tight end 1. Now, he's already shown when he was at the Panthers that he's more than capable as a receiver. Okay? I was a big fan of Chig Okonkwo as a receiver. He is actually also in the top 20 for pass blocking in the league. Okay? So he's probably going to be on the field more than he would have been with Tunsil playing. The Commanders will also use a guy called John Bates, who is one of the elite pass blocking tight ends in the NFL. So for John Bates to also be on the field as well as Chig Okonkwo, who's going to miss out? Now, this is going to affect our deeper leagues. So if you're in 10, 12-team leagues, or you've done a dynasty draft this year, this is going to affect the rookie Antonio Williams, as he is likely to be the guy missing out when the Commanders go to 12, 13 personnel to give Daniels that extra protection. So the two receivers that are going to be on the field are going to be Terry McLaurin and Stephon Diggs. Luke McCaffrey, by the way, is dead to us all. You can completely forget Luke McCaffrey. Now, out of these two receivers are going to be on the pitch, we need to figure out who's going to be of most use to Jayden Daniels. Now he's going to be getting the ball out quicker. So at a glance, this looks like it's going to be more beneficial to have Stephon Diggs on your team than it is to have Terry McLaurin. So Terry McLaurin going so high. In this draft, he's gone at 6.9, directly after Jayden Daniels. I would be fading Terry McLaurin at this point. He has an average depth of target of 14.1 yards. Stephon Diggs has an average depth of target of 8.7 yards. So Terry McLaurin has established himself as the downfield threat. Stephon Diggs is going to be your short to intermediate routes guy. So if Daniels is releasing the ball quicker, the play might not have the time for him to develop downfield, for McLaurin to be open. So Diggs is probably going to be your first look as a quarterback. And you can get him a lot cheaper. Moving on to the running back room, and the Commanders have got probably the murkiest running back room in the league. Does this injury to Laremy Tunsil add any clarity? And the short answer really is no. JCM, so Jacory Krosky-Merritt, or Bill Krosky-Merritt, if you want to call it that, and Rashad White, who are the two guys competing for the number 1 role, are both amongst the worst in the NFL for pass blocking. Okay? So neither of those should really be getting an uptick. Rashad White is more experienced, doesn't actually mean he's any better. It does open the door for rookie Katron Allen to make a case for more game time. And he was given a 23 carry workload against the Dolphins the other night. So it may be that the Commanders were trying him out to see if he can take that bell cow role, stay on the field for pass blocking, be that 3-down back that they really need. But the clearest guidance or the clearest advice I can provide around his backfield is to lean towards Rashad White. If none of the RBs are capable of consistent pass blocking, then you're going to want the running back who can get outside the tackles for a quick pass when Jayden Daniels needs to release the ball quicker. So the pocket's collapsing, he's under pressure, he needs an easy out. And if Rashad White is running outside the tackles, he can just toss it to the side, and Rashad White can pick up the easy yards where the pressure isn't. Jacory Krosky-Merritt hasn't got that kind of experience, and we all know that Rashad White is really, really good at doing that. Okay, so to sum up, if you're still with me, and I hope you are, if you're looking at drafting Commanders players,
I'm with you for the second time.
I know. I can see it in your face, mate. You should be fading Terry McLaurin, and you should be aiming in the later rounds to pick up Rashad White, Stephon Diggs, and definitely Chig Okonkwo. who could be late round heroes for you?
It's even better the second time round. I'm so far in on Jaden Daniels, which I don't think was your point, but I'm like, I'm in. And a Conquo. I quite like a Conquo. I liked Conquo from the start this summer. He's just not. I just didn't think he's not relevant enough really to be a top 7 or 8 tight end. But maybe he will be now. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get him as your backup in a really late round, and do that, and if it works, it works. But he should be on the field a lot this season.
You're on the clock. It's Burrow.
Yeah.
3 running backs.
Fortunately, we've got an 8-hour timer. Right, so I am looking at. We could be looking at tight ends. I've got Laporta, Kraft, Fanning, and Pitts as the next 4 tight ends. Carnell Tate is the next available wide receiver, with Jadarian Price being the running back up next. Not really a fan of any of them. Fanning is a potential for me there. And receiver-wise, go on.
Did you see, tight end-wise, did you see the clip of Tucker Kraft saying he expects to be up to full go by mid-season?
Oh, that's handy, isn't it? By mid-season, just when we need him. Perfect, mate. Cheers.
I was like, well, because he's been getting a lot of pop about being ready for the start of the season. He was like, yeah, basically, I think they're going to limit my reps and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, this isn't what anybody wants to hear who owns Tucker Kraft. So
we all hate that. That is terrible news.
He's going to start plummeting down boards, I think.
The irony is, looking at those tight ends is, and I do it every year, and it's Kyle Pitts. I get dragged back in. I finally think I'm out, and then I end up getting dragged back into this Kyle Pitts vortex. So I'm doing my absolute best to swerve him. And because I've just said that, I will take Fanning.
Yeah,
just to make sure that I don't take Pitts later on. My other tight end is Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, there's a lot of love for Likely, and I'm feeling it. Bannon, Tate, and then Christian Watson, which would have been under debate. Really like Christian Watson, and then the Kraft thing has made me like Christian Watson even more. So I would have looked at Christian Watson there. I think Laporta's going to have a big year, but I've already drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I don't want both of them. And then we've just talked about Tucker Kraft, and I'm not. I mean, if Pitts falls to round 10 or 11, I'll look at him, but that's not going to happen. For me, I'm looking at running back or wide receiver. So I quite like the ones at the top. So it's either Jadarian Price, who, as your running back 3, I think is worth a swing, because I don't think Charbonnet is going to be back until probably October, probably the back end of October from what I'm hearing. And so he's got the whole backfield to just go out on a team that will want to run the ball. And I think he could be featured from the off. And then Brian Thomas Jr., who I think will bounce back. So I'm gonna go Price, because I've already got 3 wide receivers. So I'll go Price as my third running back. And I think running back, from the drafts I've done and other mocks I've done, it starts to thin out a little bit at this point in terms of running back. Enough. So
my on rookie running backs, after Ashton Johnson absolutely torched me last season in so many leagues, I have now installed a rule for myself to never draft a rookie running back again.
Oh, really? Ever?
Yeah. Ever. Until one of them, any of them, absolutely goes off as a rookie, I am staying away from rookie running backs for the foreseeable future. Because Johnson murdered me last year.
He finished all right. He was like running back 11 by the end of it. It's not what you drafted.
Too late by the end of it. By the end of it, it was too late. Kyle Pitts finished as tight end 3 by the end of it, and that is propped up by tight end 2, and that was propped up by a 44-point game week. by the end of it. But by the time Kyle Pitts decided to bother doing anything, the season was done.
Yeah, there is that. Okay, Laporta went after Price. Then it was Chuba Hubbard, who has also picked up a bit of a knock, which is a shame because I like Chuba. Jalen Warren at the turn. Are you on the? Have we had this discussion? Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle. Who's your? I mean, they're probably neither of them are relevant. But if you had to pick one, would you be sticking with Warren, or would you prefer Dowdle?
No, 100% prefer Dowdle. Dowdle has proved that he can do it. He's proved that it can be RB1. He's proved he can handle the workload. Jalen Warren is essentially a gadget running back for me.
I don't disagree. Caleb Williams then goes, I'm not loving the. You know, when he talks about Drake May.
Yeah.
Probably not on this podcast, on the one that we did earlier. I think Drake May's too high and there's too much hype, but not as hyped up as Caleb Williams is. And I'm just like, he was to be going as like the 6th or 7th quarterback off the ball. I just don't see it. Like, there's 3 or 4 I would rather have than Caleb Williams, but every draft I'm in, he seems to go at this sort of 7 or 8, like that sort of area, and I'm like, I just don't get it. Brian Thomas, go on.
Why I don't understand about it, like Caleb Williams going so high, and you know, to a certain extent, maybe Drake May. I'd probably have Jalen Hurts up there as well. Is the fact that Trevor Lawrence is going after them, and he was QB4 last year. He's in a Liam Cohen scheme. He finally proved that he can actually be a very, very good quarterback in that offense. The emergence of Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr. potentially coming back, Travis Hunter maybe getting involved more this year. I can't see Trevor Lawrence taking a step backwards this season, and he should be going ahead of those 3 quarterbacks.
And I think Trevor Lawrence versus Caleb Williams is a perfect one to bring up. You're making some really good points tonight, and because all of the arguments that you would make for Caleb Williams are relevant for Lawrence. It's like the second year of a scheme with a talented head coach. It's like he's got the weapons around him, and like I'm repeating some of the stuff that you just said now. But I was like, but the difference is Trevor Lawrence actually did it last year. And performed to a high level, whereas Caleb Williams did it for bits and pieces of the 4th quarter. So Brian Thomas and Jordan Tyson then up next, which leaves me, I've already got my quarterback. I've got 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. This is very balanced. This is not a peak draft at all. I'm usually panicking on one position or another. Tight end wise, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let it fall. Which means I'm at wide receiver, I think, because I think the running backs are starting to, I like some of the running backs further down, which means I'm looking at wide receiver, and I'm still in, possibly wrongly, and this might be the last year, but I'm still in on Marvin Harrison, so I'm going to take Marvin Harrison. I think where he is, and the thing is about being in on him, still being in on him, is it's like he's an 8.
It's not gonna happen.
It might not, but now we're at the point where, I mean, last year he was still going as what, 3rd round pick, I think, or 4th at the latest. It's like you're getting, it's an 8th round pick in a 10-team league. It's like you've got as my wide receiver 4. It's like it's worth a gamble. I think the talent's there. He could do it. Dak Prescott and then Tucker Kraft leaves it back with you, mate.
Yeah, and Pitts has dropped. I could have waited on Pitts, but I'm glad I got Fannin out of the way. I'm probably going to go receiver here. Anyway, I've got my 3 running backs. I've got 2 receivers on the board. My next 4 available are DK Metcalf. I do think he's going to have a better year this year. I think the addition of Michael Pittman is going to free up DK Metcalf a bit more. Do I think Parker Washington is going to be wide receiver 1 over Brian Thomas? I think he's probably got the edge, if I'm honest. Cortland Sutton, the signing of Waddle. What's that going to do for him? And then Michael Wilson, who is he going to be wide receiver 1? I hope he is. Pete, you just drafted Marvin Harrison. You obviously hope he won't be. So I'm going to go with DK Metcalf because he will be the wide receiver 1.
What about Pittman?
The ability of teams to double team him this year is going to be diminished, seeing as Pittman's and I think DK Metcalf is in for a better year. So I made that pick. RJ Harvey went next, Kyle Pitts after that, and then team 1 at the turn took Cortland Sutton and Michael Wilson. Ramondre Stevenson followed by Parker Washington, which leaves me back on the board. And we can now see our first D. And this is really high to be showing a D in terms of the draft board anyway. And the Rams D is staring me straight in the face.
It's gone to a different YouTube show, this.
Yeah.
There's people who just the people who are just listening on Spotify are missing out now.
I know. The Rams D is an interesting prospect. I'm not going to take him now because I just can't. I can't take a D in the 9th round. But the opportunity for Aaron Donald to come out of retirement and have him and Myles Garrett on the same field is just.
I just don't
ridiculous.
think. Yeah, I just don't think defenses are worth taking high up. I get pelted, and I got pelted yesterday for taking a kicker too high up, as I will do in this draft. And I do it in every draft, and but at least I think it's a little bit easier to kind of go, right, that kicker is not only very good at what he does, possibly the best at what he does, and he's on a good offense and they're going to score points. The thing with defenses are harder, I think, and this is where I never really understand the hatred towards kickers. Is like it's much harder to work out if a defense is going to score points because so much of the big scoring weeks is on pick sixes. It's pick sixes and interceptions, and it's like, the Rams might keep the score down, and Garrett and Donald might throw some sacks in there and stuff, but you could still end up with your D scoring like 6 or 7 points because they've got to play the Seahawks twice, they've got to play the 49ers twice, they'll be playing a load of other good teams. Like they're gonna have a tough schedule. It's like teams are still gonna put up points on them, so you're not gonna get points that way. You need the ball hawks in the back end. So I don't know. I'm just not feeling the Rams on a week by I've never been a plug and play a defense anyway, and I'm not sure the Rams are going to change that for this year. I also think
that's fair. I think and I do think people are excited about the prospect of Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett, and they're having a gamble. But the 9th round for a D is, I'm not paying that price. And I'm gonna take Rico Dowdle, actually, seeing as I bigged him up in the last round.
Okay, Rico Dowdle. Then goes Jackson Dart, who I really want to do well. I've got him in one of my dynasty leagues. And that's
fair.
I want him to do well, but I just, again, I'm worried about the Giants. Everything coming out of there seems to be negative. Mekhi Lemon, he's got a hamstring injury. Not that makes much difference, but he goes next. I am going to go George Kittle. I think this is the time. I will need another tight end because I'm not sure Kittle starts the year, but I think as somebody you can take and then stick in your IR slot. I did that yesterday. Just stick him in the IR and find somebody else to play for the first couple of weeks of the season. I think is a good option at tight end when you miss out on one of those top guys. The Rams D then goes next in the 9th round, as we talked about. Justin Herbert goes at 9-9 as the quarterback to Team 9. And then Chris Godwin and J.K. Dobbins at the turn. Tony Pollard, Kyle Monungai, and then it's back to me. Now I've got a tight end, 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers. It's all very even. Oh, Brandon Aubrey.
It's Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah. Why is Brandon Aubrey up there in the? That's high, isn't
it? This just reflects how many drafts you've done. You are single-handedly
driving him up,
driving Brandon Aubrey up draft board.
This is the first time in doing any draft or a mock that I've seen a defense and a kicker this high.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with this, because then you've got the Texans aren't that far down. Interesting.
I mean, I get it because some leagues do 0.1 point per yard of kicking, don't they?
It still doesn't make that much of a difference.
So, like, your kickers can legitimately go out and have 20-odd point weeks, but not on this one.
I can't take Krosky Merritt because I've just listened to your analysis, so that takes him off the board. I am going to go running back though, and I'm going to take a gamble on, while Chuba's out injured, I'm going to take a gamble on Jonathan Brooks at that point. I think he might start the year. Alec Pierce is next, and then the Texans
Like
D.
that.
And it's over to you, Ian.
So Jonathan Brooks, I picked Jonathan Brooks up as a rookie in a load of dynasty leagues, and I have held him for 2 years. You would not believe the amount of offers I have had for him now.
Oh yeah,
and I am getting some really ridiculous offers, like so bad.
Oh, bad as opposed
But
to people not offering you enough, or
yeah, like ridiculous. Like this is what winds me up about fantasy, because you obviously don't know some of the people you play with, and
yeah,
some trade offers you set. Like I try and come up with like fair trades, as much as humanly possible. But some people just absolutely take the piss. Just like I'll give you a fourth for the Jonathan Brooks. I'm like, how about no? Don't message me ever. Don't message me ever again. You should be able to block people on Sleeper.
Yeah, now you've sat with him for 2 years, and he might actually become relevant. It's like, yeah, I'll just give him away for free.
Yeah, don't think so, pal. But yeah, you should be able to block people.
If you do get a decent offer for him, though, I'd potentially trade him, because his
100%.
stock might never be as high.
No, I mean, in all honesty, I am looking to trade him because I've carried him for 2 years, and now he's actually worth something. I'm still not convinced he's going to be able to stand up to the physical pressure of the NFL. So now is the time to cash in, but someone just needs to make me the right offer. I mean, I'm not averse to selling him because now he's finally worth something, and I'm still not sure whether he's actually going to produce. So Alex Pierce and the Texans D went after that, and that leaves me with a load of rubbish, to be honest, on the board. I've got 4 running backs and 3 receivers. I've got Joe Burrow and I've got Fanning as my tight end. Brandon Aubrey is available. I am not taking a kicker this high. I will let you take him next round. I'm not taking a second tight end. I do like Kincaid this year. I'm not sure whether DJ Moore is going to work out. And I think Kincaid could end up being the number 1 receiver in Buffalo. I'm fading Jake Ferguson this year, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Even though I love him. So I'm not feeling Jacoby Myers. I'm not feeling Pittman. If I hadn't already picked up DK Metcalf, maybe Pittman. I hate Jordan Addison. Quentin Johnson's unproven. So it's quite a bit of rubbish, if I'm honest, looking at what I'm looking at. So I'm going to take a gamble on another running back at this point. And it's someone that I believe could finish the season or become quite quickly the running back 1. And it's Kenny Gainwell.
Okay. Oh, no.
I don't have much confidence in Bucky Irving this year. And Kenny Gainwell could take over.
Right.
So then Brandon Aubrey went, which is terrible news for Pete.
Very good. I thought this draft's over.
That's it. That's the draft over now, isn't it?
It's rubbish. Yeah. I don't want to do it anymore. It's an absolute disaster.
Followed by Blake Corum, Dalton Kincaid, the Seahawks D, which 3 Ds going before the end of the 11th round. It just seems mental.
I don't know what's going on with the algorithms now, but unless people have all started just logging in and taking defenses and stuff early, it just seems a bit random, that to me.
Yeah.
I've not seen that happen.
So then Kelsey went, Travis Swift went, sorry, Matthew Stafford. So I'm gonna follow my own advice from before, and I'm gonna take Stephon Diggs.
Oh, that's a good shout.
To fill out my wide receiver room. Then Trevor Lawrence has finally gone, followed by Jake Ferguson, which leaves Pete on the board.
Team 5 have got 2 quarterbacks and a defense, and still only got 2 running back, 2 wide receivers. I'm not sure that's a great strategy, but each to their own. I still need a starting tight end, but I've got my eye on a couple, and I only think I need a couple of weeks, so I'm not too fussed about that. I've already got 4 running backs, so I'm going to look at wide receiver, and I do quite like Quentin Johnston, and I'm going to pick Quentin Johnston. I think he could be good if the Chargers are good. Addison then, Aronde Gadsden goes next. Jacoby Myers and Josh Downs to team 10. Pittman and then Patrick Mahomes as the second quarterback for team 8, which brings it back to me. I'm tempted to go another wide receiver. Just have a quick look at running backs. No, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go Jordan Mason. I still think that's Jordan Mason's team, and I think the Vikings could be better this year. So I think he's a solid option as my 5th running back, which is followed by Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Clearly not team 6, not paying attention to your chat earlier, mate. And then Wan'Dale Robinson at team 5. It leaves you on the clock with 5 picks left.
Yeah. Could I take my second tight end? I've already mentioned Isaiah Likely.
Giants thing's putting me off.
Yeah. I saw, do you see Jackson Dart get absolutely lit up?
Yeah.
The other night, the running back completely missed the block and nearly got his quarterback killed.
What I've noticed from week 1 is, and you mentioned it with Joe Burrow, there's a lot of teams who are putting their starters out at least for a drive more than you've seen in the last few years. And you're also seeing with like Joe Burrow, Jackson Dart, and a few others, like you see why the teams stopped doing that. And I wonder whether they'll be like, yeah, we're not doing that in week 2. So that was enough of that.
So I'm not going to do my backup tight end. I'm also not going to take Brock Purdy or Bo Nix as my backup quarterbacks. I don't like taking backups this early, if you get what I mean. It just feels like a bit of a wasted pick.
It depends on who you've got, but you're basically just picking. It is a wasted pick because you're picking someone for 1 week, effectively, aren't you? Like you want Joe Burrow to play every week except week 6. So
his bye week,
taking a quarterback here, you kind of go in, I only want this guy for 1 week, which feels like there's more options at running back and wide receiver that might be able to help you.
Yeah, I mean, I have the confidence in Joe Burrow. If I'd have taken, maybe a more middle of the road, riskier quarterback, like Matthew Stafford has gone last round. Matthew Stafford is still struggling with a back injury. Is an older quarterback, definitely more likely to get injured. I maybe might take a backup quarterback for someone like Matt Stafford. But I still really like Jaden Reed, so I'm going to take Jaden Reed here now.
I like that pick. That's a lot later than Christian Watson, isn't it?
The only risk for Jaden Reed is that when they are running 12 personnel, he's the one that makes way. Isaiah Likely then went, followed by Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, and then 2 kickers, Cameron Dicker and Jason Myers, followed by Aaron Jones, who I don't have any faith in anymore, personally.
No,
what about you?
That's why I went Mason.
You just took Jordan Mason, so I'm guessing not. Yeah. So I think I'm going to take Rashad White now. I've already taken Stephon Diggs. going to follow me on advice, take Rashad White. My other option here is Casey Concepcion, who has been playing really well in pre-season, but it's still the Browns. And calling it a quarterback race is an insult to any kind of race, because it's a race to the bottom essentially. No one is standing out. My other option at this point is also Matthew Golden, but I'm just taking Jaden Reed. So I'm going to take Rashad White.
I was looking at Matthew Golden because whilst I don't
kickers
really
flying off the board now, and after that, followed by the Eagles D.
Oh, we broke up a bit there. I was looking at Matthew Golden because I'm like, whilst I don't really believe in the player this late in a draft, I'm like, they've not got rid of everybody else, but they've really cleared out that room, and he's probably worth a flyer because it might work for him. But I am going to pick up the tight end that I am looking at when I go with Kittle, and that's Dallas Goedert. I think with no AJ Brown, Lemon injured, even Devonta Smith's battling an injury. I think early in the season, at least, Goddard could be a good fill until I get Kittle back. Dobbs then goes next. Andrews, Goff, the Broncos D, Fairbairn, Sadiq, and I'm going to leave, based on the fact that I haven't got the kicker I want, and most of the defenses are going, I'm going to leave kicker and defense to the last two picks. So that gives me one random swing at any player I want, who I'm probably going to drop in week one to bring in the new hotness off the wave, the new hotness off the waiver wire. So I need somebody who's going to do something amazing in week one, and I'm going to go with. I'll go with Golden. We've already talked about him. You never know. He might do something amazing in week one, and I'm like convince me to keep him.
Yeah, where Harrison Mevis, Hunter Henry has just gone off the board, which leaves me on the clock. I still need a kicker and a D. Now, you mentioned it before when you picked up Kittle. If it gets to this point and you've not got the kicker you wanted, or you want to wait for a D, if you're new to fantasy this year, what Pete has done, he's picked up Joe Kittle, who's on IR. So when this draft finishes, Pete can move him straight into an IR spot and pick up a kicker or a D. So you don't have to draft those positions. You can wait on those as long as you pick up someone that isn't available to play that you can put on your IR spot. And that applies to me now because I've got Zach Charbonnet up on my board now. So I could pick up Charbonnet and completely forget about a kicker or a D and then pick them up after the draft. So if you've never done that before, consider it this year. I'm not going to do it now, even though I just talked about it. I'm going to do it. For the sake of the draft, I'm going to take a kicker and a D, just for the sake of this. But if this was real world, I would probably take Charbonnet now, put him in my I spot, and then pick up a kicker or a D off waivers. I'm going to take the Vikings D. I do like them. They're a solid unit, solid last year. There's going to be no change for them this year. So then Khalil Shakir went, Charbonnet went, Concepcion went, Deebo Samuel, the Ravens D, and Xavier Worthy, which brings me back on the board. With 2 picks left, I still need to take a kicker, which I can now, there's so many kickers gone, I can wait till the last round. So who am I going to have a massive late round swing on? This one's easy, Pete.
Oh, no.
It's Alvin Kamara. He has still got plenty in the tank.
Mate, the whole idea of a late round swing is that you pick on someone who's got a bit of potential, not someone who should have been like taken behind the cowshed 2 years ago. Jesus. Jaden Higgins, he's just gone next. That would have been a better pick. Baker Mayfield's gone to team 6. I don't need another quarterback because I've got Josh Allen. So what's the point? So I'm going to go kicker and D to finish off. Boswell is the head pick, but as it's the Steelers, I'm going to go Harrison Butker and instead at the Chiefs. And that's followed up by Brian Robinson and Tyler Algier. And Tyler Algier is not a bad shout with Love carrying an injury. Although this late, you wouldn't be starting him the first couple of weeks anyway. Jalen Coker, Chris Boswell does go. The Pats defense, Andy Borregales. Not easy for me to say. And then defense-wise, I like to look at the opening schedule. I've already done this a few times. I am taking the Chiefs D. If you look at their first 4 weeks, possibly not week 1 because they play the Broncos, but the first 4 weeks are about as easy as the defense is going to get. So I'm taking the Chiefs D to try and start the season wherever I can. And now I've given away my secrets to anybody who bothers listening. But yeah, I've tried to pick them up in as many drafts as I can because I just think they're up until their bye in week 5, you can just plug and play them for the first 4 weeks. They'll probably get me 2, if not 3 good weeks out of the 4, and then I'll be happy with that.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, do you prefer to find a D and stick with them like we were talking about earlier, like a Rams or a Texans, or do you want to change it like week by week?
I generally start the season doing it week by week, and then I end up sticking with one. So I don't waver them in every week throughout the season based on favorable matchups who they play in. I might chop and change for the first couple of weeks, see who's playing well, see who's gelling as a unit, see who's getting the points, then pick them up off waivers and keep them for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And then don't worry about them unless they're getting absolutely smashed every week, to be fair. So after you pick your D there, Chris Rodriguez went, followed by Tyrone Tracy. Full disclosure, my last pick of Alvin Kamara, I only really made that to get a rise out of Pete.
I know. And it worked.
My actual late round swing in every league I've drafted in this year, and it's a 15th round pick, so probably going to go on waivers if it doesn't work out anyway. My actual late round swing is Jalen Naylor. He could be wide receiver 1 at the Raiders. He's only up against Trey Tucker, really. Jalen Naylor, by all accounts, has the inside track. He's been tearing up at training camp. He is likely to start as the wide receiver 1. I know we're all high on Brad Bowers. We're all high on Austin Chauncey. They are likely to be a run-first team. But you are getting a wide receiver 1 for a team in the 15th round by taking that swing. So just letting you guys know, if you end up drafting against me and you take him, I'll hate you for it. But at least someone's listening. So that leaves me with just the kicker to take. Why not Jake Bates? Please, half the year in a dome. Let's take Jake Bates. I think we disappeared then, but I took Jake Bates. The Lions D went Jonah Coleman, and then Rashid Shaheed was the last pick, who is still a massive best ball pick for me.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it, Rashid. I do like Jonah Coleman though. I think there's a chance. The question with that is Jonah Coleman's also a bit of a best ball pick in that I quite like the pick, but you're going to have to hold on to him to wait for the inevitable J.K. Dobbins injury, which could be 7 or 8 weeks. And then him to probably be out RJ Harvey, which might be another couple of weeks. It's like, are you going to be able to sit him on your bench for 8-9 weeks when injuries are happening and bye weeks start kicking in? So, or are you going to be the guy who drafted him in round 16, then dropped him in week 5, and then somebody else picks him up off waivers in week 12 and absolutely hammers you with him? So
yeah, you lose the playoffs because Jonah Coleman went off.
Yeah, exactly. Right, enjoyed that. It was even better the second time.
Slightly frustrating. This. We weren't happy in between these two.
It's taken us 2 hours to record an hour-long podcast. That's only we could manage that. But yeah, that was good. That was good. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. If you're listening, we will put this out as a pod as well as on YouTube. If you're listening and you want to go back and see the draft board, that's on YouTube. So it's a good opportunity to log into our YouTube and watch that back. Hopefully we chatted you enough through it. But yeah, anyone who's on YouTube will have seen all of that. As we get closer to the season, we're going to try and fit in our couple of episodes that we really like, our top 10/15 from each position, and our predictions for divisions. So we'll try and fit all that in. Obviously, it's August. We're both going on holiday. Hopefully, H is going to be back as well and make an appearance with his predictions as well. So we'll try and fit all of that in before the season kicks off. Anything to say before we sign off?
No, I've said enough. I've said it all twice as well. So.
Thanks for listening, and yeah, see you next time.